Hi everyone, it's Anne. Thank you for joining me. Wanted to do a video on a question that came in about the relationship between Ascension symptoms, emotional trauma, light body activation. Very good question. All of these things are happening right now as we are awakening right across the planet here. As we go through this ascension process, it is affecting more and more people. So there are different phases of this process. Everybody is at a different point. There is no cookie cutter approach. There is no right or wrong way to do this. This is an individual journey here. Bits and pieces of information, guides along the way, provide you with what you need to know to continue your journey and movement forward. It is definitely a very wild ride. So what is the connection here? Well, first of all, I'm going to say that from my perspective, these are all based on my perspective of 7 years of going through this process of severe medical trauma, surgery, months in the hospital, a narcissistic sociopathic experience, we'll call it that, all and ascension all happening at the same time. So the fact that I'm even here and able to articulate this is quite amazing in itself. So yes, the question, are these related? Yes, everything is related. The thing is, where we're moving to here, so we're ascending. What does that really mean? Okay, so I'm going to talk just from my own personal grounded experience. Try not to come from the perspective of somebody else's opinion. But I knew when I came out of surgery, my life-saving surgery, I knew I was a very different person for a lot of reasons, but I had been basically cleared. So mentally, I had been isolated for a long time. So most people don't experience, not very many anyway, I know there's some, don't get to experience, or thankfully, what I had to go through to get here. But it brought some real clarity very early on when I was first starting out, when I had no density, no outside influence. There was no constant barragement of data information coming at me. It was such a beautiful place to be. It was so much easier. It was so much lighter. It was so filled with just love. It was a very nice flowing feeling. And as I started to come back into the fray of life, more and more I could feel the density of everything around me, of all the people, of the inputs, the television, the media, even just driving at that point there's just so much that we are processing. It is quite unbelievable. It's also at that point in time where I started watching television and instantly recognized how dark it was, how dark the football game was, how dark the undertone of darkness that the commercials had that I'd never seen before. And I wasn't even able to watch TV very much because it was just so blatantly shocking to me. The lights were too bright, and I had to turn it off. And really, since that time, I have really stayed very far away from television, at least commercials. So when I first came out of where I was at, I recognized right away that I felt like I'm floating. I felt like I'm in a dream. It was a very nice place to be, except for the fact that there was so much energy. I could feel the density in other people. Now, this isn't against them, but this is just saying that many people are so full of density, of carrying around this pain, of storing it in our body, of trauma, of programs that we just don't realize are happening. We're running on unconscious patterns and behaviors that aren't necessarily in our favor here. I could feel the densities in others because I'm a very highly sensitive person, which is why I got where I was in the first place, not understanding the fact that I was an empath and I was a highly sensitive person. I still can really pick up on the density in the energy. I feel energies in others and in the environment as a whole collectively. Some people to the point where I was physically sick around them. So this is where I really started to, I would just had this very tuned in, very keen sense of understanding. And it was very hard, still is a very hard environment to live in with this just amount of density in everyone around us. And it is very hard to find people that are truly, you can trust and are authentic and not wearing this mask of ego. That is who we are, I guess, from a physical being, a human being. We have been learned to have this ego that is protecting us, but has gotten out of hand. We have dropped all of our intuitive knowledge, and that part of the guidance system, that is now coming back online to bring us more into balance, thank God. Because, wow, there's so much density on this planet, as you all know. So that is a bit of the history there. So I am recovering from severe physical trauma, also learning about so many aspects of this journey at the same time. So this was the past really 10 years I've been going through this, understanding about sensitivity, highly sensitive people, and empaths, and really dealing with ascension symptoms and physical trauma healing, light body activation, all of those things happening at the same time. So this is all based on my own knowledge, can I give you a nice little pie chart that says this much, this is exactly ascension symptoms, and this is exactly trauma, holding on to trauma, because we hold on to the trauma in different parts of our body. We've subconsciously pushed down traumatic events that happen, usually as a child, emotional triggered events that we have suppressed and pushed down. Varies for everybody. This process varies for everybody. This is a very detailed topic of discussion, and I'm going to try and keep it high level. As well as recovering from narcissistic sociopathic abuse. Now, that in itself is, it's like coming off of drugs. Unless you've experienced this, you do not understand how trauma bonding in that aspect can really affect us as individuals. It is very emotionally abusive behavior, gaslighting at its finest, if I could say that. I learned so much from going through that relationship. This individual really wanted to try and kill me just for fun. They like to play. They really do not care, as much as they are tremendous actors and feign empathy very well. And this isn't understood unless you have experienced this, and I know a lot of you have. So I'm just explaining to you all the layers that are possible in physical symptoms in our bodies adjusting to this massive transformation that we're going through right now. So there isn't a cut and dry answer, but we do know that as we hold and release, as we come to the understanding of the trauma that we've held within, as we come into our inner work, we do our inner work, our self-actualization, as we are open to accepting new ways of looking at things, new information, of addressing the pain body within ourselves. Number one point why a lot of people do not do this work is because it is very, very emotionally difficult and hard to address and to really look at straight in the eye some of these things that are coming up. We try and bury them. We try and hide through different sorts of escape mechanisms, which I've had experience with as well. not wanting to deal with the realities of the true emotion behind it. So all of these things are happening. Our bodies are definitely changing. This light body activation, I know I'm different. I feel different. I feel, as you guys know, these energies and frequencies like crazy, being highly sensitive has opened me up to so many aha moments about who I am and why I've reacted in certain situations the way I have. I have learned so much about myself from understanding the programs of my parents and the people around me, and the fact that I'm empathic and want to always help people and always believe that people are well and good to my own detriment. So much of this, all of these things happening at the same time, they all sort of mumble together, and I can't clearly separate them, but I can say I know that Ascension symptoms are very common across the board. You can please go look that up. There are some tremendously amazing people who have documented on their own websites. I encourage that. All different pieces of their particular journey, all amazing people. So go and find people who have graciously put forward so much good effort and work. Yes, weird medical things happen. We have to learn about our physical bodies. We really have to be educated and not go running every second to the doctor. I think it's really important here to, I'm not giving medical advice by any means. If you feel a need, please seek medical attention. I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying, as you dive into more in how all of these things operate, as your emotional body, your physical body, your thoughts, your belief systems are all very powerful and are creating your reality. Once we start to pull that apart from our unconscious behaviors, the game changes. So all of this is happening at the same time. Yes, they are definitely related. Yes, as we release these energetic blockages, we do feel elevated and the rise. It is an ongoing process. One video is not going to address the complexity of all these things that are happening. But when we talk about complexity, again, we can make it complex or we can make it very simple. And when I'm going to sum this up by saying, simply stated, by recognizing first and foremost that this is happening to a lot of people on many different levels, understanding that is the key here. So you can surrender more and non-resistance and recognize that change is underway. We can direct it through our ability to move past our past, right? So really, really, what is it you'd like to see yourself as? Be as you wish to seem. Focus on and follow your dreams, regardless of what the mind is telling us to do. This is really, really important because we're moving quickly here to manifestation of intentions through this process. So release, purging, yes, is necessary. It is definitely physically demanding as we are moving and shifting into evolving, I'm going to say, is probably the best word. We're all evolving here. We don't know exactly where this is all leading. So having an open mind, not being a control freak about any aspects of this, because there are some things that definitely occur here, I can tell you this, that are not easily explainable. They are metaphysical in nature and absolutely stunning and amazing if we allow that to come in. So that's what my short answer is to the question of the relationship between Ascension symptoms, emotional trauma, and the light body. Thanks very much, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.